planting trees, frankly, is about the most useless activity ever. I know it's terribly popular these days, but trust me, trees do not need planting. I mean, they really don't.
Do they just need space to basically plant themselves or
They
disperse
need,
the seeds
they
themselves?
need, exactly. They need space and opportunity to plant themselves. Given that space and opportunity, trees are extremely good at planting themselves. And in fact, across quite large chunks of Europe now, in the uplands of Italy and France and Spain, where for economic reasons there's rural depopulation, trees are back. Trees are back by the shed load. I mean, millions of hectares of trees have just planted themselves. And all that's happened is people have stopped farming. So they've stopped ploughing and stopped grazing. And once you do that, give trees any opportunity and they're in there like a shot. And what's also back across these areas that have all these trees in Italy and Spain and France is wolves.
Yeah.
Wolves are back, really back in a big way. So much so that there's really there's quite a lot of pushback now from people who keep sheep for a living.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are
Would
ways around that. You
would
you could
would
you could deal with that.
reintroducing wolves be possible in the UK currently with the amount of space we have and the amount of forest we have and the amount of sheep we have?
Wolves are a difficult one. Britain's not a very big. England. Where would you put wolves in England? Yeah, I mean seriously. Um, I, I, Scotland. Yeah, I think, I think Scotland. I mean, huge opposition, obviously, from farmers, and with very good reason.
Yeah.
But frankly, in the great scheme of things, compensating farmers for losing a few sheep, it's peanuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's the administrative burden. It's the faffing about actually organising how that would be done, the paperwork that puts people off.
Mm.
The cost is trivial,
Yeah.
and the other carnivore, of course, lynx, which is also following the wolves across Europe. I mean, more lynx than ever. Lynx is less of a problem. Lynx live at low densities. They are forest animals. They are deer specialists. They wouldn't eat many sheep. So I think the argument for reintroducing the lynx is a no-brainer, personally.
Yeah.
And I think what you have to do here is put yourself in the position of imagine you lived in a world where the lynx, against all odds, had actually survived as a native animal until the 21st century. Imagine you lived in that country. What would you think about lynx now? What would everyone think about lynx now? Yeah, they would be a conservation icon.
Yeah. They'd be a keystone species, surely.
They would be a keystone species. They would be a major tourist attraction. They would be a major industry, organising lynx spotting tours. I mean, they would be societies dedicated to their conservation and protection.
I mean, I'd definitely be traveling up with my camera to try and photograph them if they were in
Yeah,
Scotland.
you would be trying to see them. I would be trying. Everybody, we would love our lynx, and the idea that just because we've managed through carelessness and whatever, to lose them, that we should now not reintroduce them. I think if you put yourself in the position of, are they still here, you would love them.
Yeah.
What's not to love? Bring them back, and they would help to basically they would help to control the deer. And if you control the deer, because there's no other way of controlling deer. People say, oh, you could shoot deer, but shooting deer it's expensive. It kills the wrong animals. Shooting deer is natural selection in reverse. The deer people want to shoot are the big, successful deer with big antlers. But they're not the deer that would be killed by wolves and by lynx. It would be the old, the sick, the lame, the very young. That's how ecosystems work. And that's how they should work. But I mean, the experience right across Scotland now is that if only you make a big effort and control deer, been done in the Cairngorms, in the Cairngorms National Park, massive expansion of trees, mostly by natural regeneration, simply by controlling deer a bit better. But the easy way to do that is to have some proper predators for a change.
Well, think about the amount of money that would probably save in costs if we just had a Lynx to outsource the deer extermination.
Exactly. And it would be a tiny step back towards a functioning ecosystem that had the large animals in it that ecosystems have always had before humans came along and killed them. I mean, the earth used to be knee deep in big animals everywhere. Big.
There used to be cave lions in the UK, didn't there? And hyenas or something like that.
Yeah. Used to, I mean, the whole world had this fantastic collection of animals that it's hard to imagine now. They look like science fiction, like South American ground sloths.
Yes, yeah.
The size of tanks. I mean, can you imagine?
It'd be amazing. It'd be incredible, wouldn't it?
I mean, they're just. It makes, and that's that's just not. That's not unusual. The whole world was like that. I mean, there are bits of the world where this happened so recently that we almost saw it happen. I mean, New Zealand, for example, when the ancestors of the Maoris arrived in New Zealand, they found a country, a world with no land predators at all. So they had mowers because they only had birds. The birds, flightless birds, 12 feet tall. I mean, and hunted by the world's largest eagle. Haast's eagle had a 12-foot wingspan.
Wow.
And the Maoris, well, the mowers were just a source of, free food.
Yeah.
So they killed them all. And then the eagle had nothing to eat and the eagle went extinct. And it's all gone.
Mm.
So it's absolutely amazing to think what the world used to be like. And we could just take a few steps towards recreating that, usually without too much difficulty, where the animals still exist. It would, and then you don't need to worry about the biodiversity in a sense. Then you don't need to worry about the fact that there are millions of species out there, most of which are insects, most of which no one will ever notice, and that will never be even named and described, because you are preserving ecosystems, and you hope that those animals will, all those rare animals, tiny rare animals, will continue to survive somewhere out there, even if you don't know about them.
So if we if we give nature space to regenerate and bring back some of the megafauna, is that one of the best solutions?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And you can see this happening. You can see this happening. It's happening in the sea. It's happening in the sea. This is, it's doom and gloom, basically. But this is a good news story because we've actually stopped hunting whales.
Yeah.
Well, the ocean used to be like the land, used to be full of enormous animals, but we killed them all. But now they're coming back. So hardly a year passes now without people seeing whales of various species in places where no one in living memory has ever seen whales. You see reports all the time in the media. My God, such and such a whale. We've never seen that before. Where did they come from? There's nothing odd about this. They're just recolonizing all the places they used to live before we killed them all. So people have seen humpback whales just off the coast of Cornwall,
Yeah.
for example. I mean, how? I mean, that's just, and people are gobsmacked, but they shouldn't be, because they would always have been there before we started killing them. Now, what did these animals do? Well, they did all kinds of things. Nutrient circulation in the oceans, moving nutrients around the ocean from surface waters down to deep water and back up to surface waters and so on. That was whales' job. That was what whales did. They were the great nutrient circulators in the ocean. And suddenly they're coming back and they're going to start doing it again. And the ocean's going to work a lot better as a result. Because the oceans are still, despite overfishing, they are still basically wild.
Yeah.
Whereas there are too many people on land for too much of that to be terribly wild, to be honest. Mind you, we try in small ways, don't we? I'm really excited down here in Devon at the reintroduction of pine martins.
Yes, yeah.
To Dartmoor. I mean, it's a small thing, but seriously, what's not to be?
Well, yeah, big things start small, don't they? So it's better than taking no action whatsoever.
Big things start small, and small gets people used to the idea that of reintroducing animals that used to be around but have been long locally extinct. So, I mean, pine martins belong on Dartmoor. They will always have been on Dartmoor. The woodlands of the Dartmoor River valleys would always have had pine martins in them. But we killed them all.
Why did we kill them all? What was the reason?
Well, various reasons. All the small mustelids, the martins, weasels, polecats, we like their fur. They've got lovely fur. Very fine, very warm. I mean, just beautiful for warmth and for decoration. I mean, you could just think how many animals you had to kill to get all those ermine in the House of Lords. I mean, seriously. Or a king's coronation. Although to be fair, King Charles recycled old coronation robes. They didn't have to kill any new weasels to make his robes. So that's one reason. And then later, when we got more and more people and more keeping more and more animals, they were regarded as vermin because of people keeping chickens, just like foxes.
Yeah.
So various reasons. But anyway, they were reduced at one point to just basically a few left in northwestern Scotland.
What is that? Pine martins.
Pine martins. But
wow.
now they're spreading. Now they're spreading naturally. They've been reintroduced into Wales, where they're doing really well. and as I say, Dartmoor also, and I think Exmoor also. Um, so that gets people used to the idea of that, and beavers,
Yeah, yeah.
because I can't believe how much opposition there was throughout almost the whole of my life. People have been banging on about what a good idea it would be to reintroduce beavers. But the opposition was, I don't know, kind of weird in a way. I think we don't like change in a way. We like the world the way it was when we were growing up or something. We don't like change. There was a lot of opposition to beavers. I've no idea why. No idea why. And in the end, it took people basically taking the law into their own hands.
Well,